Hello, and welcome to the UFC conference call. As a reminder, today's conference is being recorded. At this time, for opening remarks and introductions, I would like to turn the conference over to Dave Schaller. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Robert. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the UFC on Fox media conference call. UFC on Fox takes place live on Saturday, December 8th from the sold-out Key Arena in Seattle. The fight airs live on Fox at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. Preliminary fights will air live on FX beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, and fans can also catch Friday's weigh-in live on Fuel TV at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. At the end of today's call, I'll run through the schedule of Fight Week activities in Seattle. And just a quick reminder, tickets are on sale for our next Fox event in Chicago on January 26th. They go on sale this Friday. And UFC 156, which is Super Bowl weekend here in Vegas, that's also on sale this Friday. Today's media call is going to feature Ben Henderson, the UFC lightweight champion, challenger Nate Diaz, former two-division UFC champion BJ Penn, and rising welterweight star Rory MacDonald. Also on the call will be UFC President Dana White, and joining us shortly will be Fox Sports Media Group President Eric Shanks. At this time, I'll turn it over to Dana.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry we're late. We're trying to track down Shogun and Gustafsson, so they'll pop in here in any moment, we hope. Who's got the first question?
And Robert, at this time, if you can prompt for the first question, we'll go ahead and cue.
Very good. And if anyone would like to ask a question, you may do so by pressing star followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad at this time. Please make sure that your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Once again, that is star followed by the number 1. We will go first to Neil Davidson of the Canadian Press.
Yes, thank you. My question is to BJ, and I have a quick follow-up after that. It's been said that you had expressed the interest in fighting Rory MacDonald. Can you tell us what convinced you to come back to fighting after you seemed to have called it quits in the cage, and why was MacDonald the opponent you wanted?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Neil?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was just kind of hanging out. It started to itch that I wanted to fight again. Better than staying home, sitting on the couch, and I realized I can't do this forever, so I might as well make the most of it I can. And as far as fighting with Rory, I think he's a great opponent. He's an up-and-comer. He's one of the top guys. Everybody says he's going to be a champion soon, so, and ending up fighting with somebody like Rory, it wasn't a tough decision. And then I've said in a couple other interviews, I'd like to have a fight with Team TriStar again. They're a great team. They've got a lot of champions in their club, and I just think it's a great fight all around.
And if I could just follow up, BJ, there was a Twitter exchange between you and Rory where you responded to a picture of him and you made reference to acne on his back. You've asked him to take the random drug tests. Do you feel that he's doing something he shouldn't?
I'm not going to sit here and get into that with everybody right now. I'm sure there are people in all sports that bend the rules, but I'm not going to sit here and point the finger. But as far as the doping and that's concerned, I realize that it's a painstaking thing for the UFC, and I don't want to put them through that. They've got their own way that they take care of their things. But I wanted to do if I was going to make a comeback, I want to make it as safe as I can for when I step in the ring, and that's all that this was about. I'm not pointing the finger. I'm not saying, Rory, you do steroids or anything like that. It has nothing to do with any of that. I'm just protecting my own butt.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, everyone. Eric Shanks is on the line.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, guys.
Right, and we will now go to our next question that comes from Mark Francescuti of Dallas Morning News.
Hi, Dana. Can you give us an update on the St. Pierre Silva fight that you're trying to put together and what roadblocks remain in choosing a venue? Folks, especially here in Dallas, Fort Worth, are excited to hear about the details.
I don't have any details on that yet. I don't have any details on GSP Anderson Silva.
Have you talked to any of the venues about hosting a big fight? And how early do you have to plan an event like that for a venue?
George St. Pierre went on vacation. He hasn't even been back yet from vacation after the fight, so we haven't even talked to him. Haven't talked to anybody yet.
And we will go to our next question now. That comes from A.J. Perez of FoxSports.com.
It's for Dana. You have a lot of The Ultimate Fighter alumni in this fight right here. Is there, can you talk a little about just how, if this is what you expected, it's kind of, having kind of the whole, grouping these guys up here and then having them take over and, highlight these fights?
Well, no, I mean, that's how it works. The guys come up through The Ultimate Fighter. But if you look at a guy like Nate Diaz, who's fighting for the title, he has fought, he's been fighting for years. He's fought everybody. He's on a 3-fight win streak. He beat Gomi, Cerrone, Miller. The guys that come off The Ultimate Fighter, it's kind of like, it's our AAA. Introduce the fans to these up-and-coming guys, but Diaz and Swick and a lot of the guys around this card have been around for a long time, even Matt Brown.
Cool, thanks.
Yep.
And we will go next to Dave Dybert of Post Media News.
Hi, thanks for the call, guys. This is for Eric and Dana. There have been, more reports recently about a Fox Sports 1 getting closer to becoming reality. Potentially, how much of a factor would UFC broadcasting be on a channel like that? And there, in one of the recent reports, it said August, I think, was a timeline for launch. Is that report accurate? I guess that one would probably be for Eric.
Yeah, that's an Eric question.
Yeah.
The same question kind of gets the same answer from us. We're not looking to announce anything today or in the near future. We continue to look at options. We have a lot of great network properties, but regardless of what individual channels are called, the UFC, the plans are, and we've talked to Dana and Lorenzo, while we were setting up this deal, the UFC is going to play a huge role both on the broadcast network and national cable with Fox and Fox Sports going forward. So no matter what channel configurations look like within the Fox Sports Media Group, UFC is going to play a bigger and bigger role as time goes on.
Okay. Dana, you would, after Montreal, you would intimated perhaps that bigger things, I forget how you worded it, but bigger, longer things might be coming with Fox.
I said we're working on a lot of new things right now. We're going to shake up the industry again, just like we have, over the last 13 years with all the new stuff we're working on. And we've been out, we've been in network deals. I've been talking to networks forever. These are the guys I want to be with. These are the guys I want to be with forever.
All right. Thanks very much, you guys.
It's very sweet, Dana.
Good. And we will take our next question from Damon Martin of MMAweekly.com.
First question is for Benson Henderson. Benson, obviously 2 title defenses in. You've had a lot of questions about the way you beat Frankie Edgar and those fights in particular. Do you feel like there's a certain statement you need to make in a fight with Nate Diaz to really be dominant or go out and finish a guy like this to kind of solidify your place as champion?
Well, I think the first 2 Frankie fights, the first one was close, and everyone was hoping that the second one wouldn't be as close, be more decisive. But, sadly, the second one was even closer than the first one. It is what it is. But as far as, me facing Nate and how I got to win against Nate, I'm just trying to get a W. I'm trying to get my hand raised. However I can get it. He slips on banana peel, I'll take it. If it's a decisive victory, I'll take it. If it's a closer, razor-thin decision, even closer than the second Frankie fight, I'll take that too. Getting a W is not easy to come by in the UFC, going against, the best guys literally on the planet. I'll take it any way I can get it. That being said, I always fight, I think all the fighters on the line, we all fight to end fights and to be as decisive as possible. But sometimes, when you're fighting the best guys on the planet, you just can't make it as easy as that. You can't make it super decisive. The guys you're fighting, it'd be kind of offensive, I think, if I just said, oh, yeah, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to knock out Nate Diaz, no problem. Like, no, I'm not going to say that. Nate Diaz is tough. He's darn tough. And, I'm going to go out there and do my best and try to get my hand raised any way possible. But we all fight to end fights. We all fight to put guys away. That being said, the other guy isn't exactly let it sometimes.
And a question for BJ Penn. BJ, you talked about, why you came back and the reason for, making your return. But do you have any long-term goals? Is it all based on this fight, and then you'll kind of see the future after that? Because I know you've always been a guy that kind of takes things one fight at a time. Is it the same approach with this one, or do you feel like, you've kind of got long-term plans for more than just this fight?
Yeah, I'm just focusing on this fight. I got no more plans after this. And once I do have any plan, I'll call Dana and we'll talk from that point. But I got no plans after December 8th. My whole life is just into that.
And one question for Dana and maybe Eric Shanks as well. This fight was the first title fight that you put on the UFC on Fox card since the original show, and you're doing that again with John Dodson, Demetrius Johnson. Was there a strategic idea? I mean, did the idea of putting more title fights on Fox, or was this just the way things worked out, or how did that come about?
The strategic idea is to put the best fights we could possibly put on Fox. You guys know what the last year and a half has been like. It's tough. It's tough to keep a card together. What do we got? Like a week and a half to go. I want to say to all the guys on the phone, tone your training down a little bit. Let's not get anybody injured this last week and a half. But it's always our intention to put on the best fights on Fox, on pay-per-view, on FX, on Fuel. I mean, we're always trying to put on the best fights we could possibly do. As far as title fights, this is the way it lined up. And the same thing with the Johnson fight. I've always believed that, you showcase these guys on, at the end of the day, we're a pay-per-view company. You showcase these guys on free television, and, it helps build the sport. It helps build these fighters and their who they are, their background, which, by the way, we have Road to the Octagon this Sunday after the NFL on Fox, and it basically tells the stories of Ben Henderson, Nate Diaz, Shogun, Gustafsson, BJ Penn, and Rory McDonald. So after the NFL this Sunday, Road to the Octagon on Fox, on Big Fox.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yep.
And we will take our next question from Mike Straka of Fight TV.
Hey, I got two questions. One for Nate first, and then one for BJ. Nate, how do you characterize this fight? A lot of times people say, we'll characterize the Diaz brothers as people who don't really care about titles and belts. But how do you characterize this title fight for Nate Diaz?
How do I characterize it?
Yeah, how do you describe it? I mean, would you say that you've dreamt of this moment where you're fighting for the UFC belt, or is this just another fight for you?
Well, yeah, it's a big fight. It's important and for the belt, so it's pretty much the biggest thing going on right now.
Have you trained any differently for this fight than you do for every other fight, Nate?
No, I'm just trying to prepare the best way I can, train hard with all my teammates, and just being as ready as I can be.
All right, thank you, Nate. Hey, DJ, a lot of talk these days about super fights and being, an elder statesman of the sport, somebody who's been around as long as you have. Do you think super fights are good or bad for the UFC?
I think super fights are great. I think it causes a lot of hype, and Dana knows that. Dana knows that super fights are one of the look at the name itself, super fight. It's awesome. It's what this sport is about. It's what this sport was built on. Get the two best fighters in the world and put them in the ring. and I got to give it to Dana White. He has done that every time. He doesn't let no Mayweather-Pacquiao situations ever happen. He's the man. Dana White, you're the man.
All right, thanks, guys. I concur, Dana.
DJ.
Later, guys.
And we will take our next question from Reed Forgrade of FoxSports.com.
This would be a question for Eric and Dana. I'm curious if you can measure the impact that this Fox contract has had 1 year in on the popularity of the UFC.
That question for me?
Yes, and Eric, if he has any input as well.
Well, obviously, in my opinion, being on one of the biggest networks in the world is huge. I mean, when you look at a company like Fox, Fox isn't just here in the United States. Fox is a global media company, and Eric Shanks is a young, aggressive, smart guy that we love to do business with. He's exactly our type of guy that we like to do business with, and I feel like we have a great relationship with this company, and we're all talking about big, long-term projects, and the things that we're working on, the way that we do business. It's just absolutely impossible for this sport not to continue to grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Do you have any idea what this will look like, this relationship in the future? I mean, are you expecting 5 or 6 fights a year, or is there going to be more on Big Fox?
Well, no, I think we have 4 right now, which is a good number, and Fox, the UFC as a company continues to grow. We continue to try new things and do new things, and Fox Media Group is exactly the same. Like I said, I've been in the television business now for 13 years, and I'm going to be honest, like I always am. There's a lot of people in this business I can't stand. I can't stomach, and it's hard to do business with a lot of these guys. We've found the perfect partners. We love the relationship with these guys. We love this company, and like I said, this is a group of guys we want to be with forever.
Yeah, look, I think from our standpoint, we knew that this relationship is going to grow and get bigger every year. The first year was really to get kind of the mainstream advertiser base behind it, and also promote the UFC with in the likes of NFL and Major League Baseball and college football, and make it part of a big Fox Sports portfolio. And we've done that. I mean, we've got over 100 major advertisers now. We've introduced 15 new advertiser categories just in the last 12 months. So this is exactly where we thought we would be, if not ahead. And with some of the things that we're talking about with Dana and Lorenzo, this relationship is going to look different over the next 2 years, 3 years, and it's only going to get bigger, because you're going to get much more economic support from the advertiser base behind it. And when that happens, this thing is going to be one of the top sports in the U.S. on television. Even if you look at the ratings today, I mean, you look at college football over the weekend. How many games did above? Just take our last 2 fights. How many college football games did above a 1-5 last week? UFC ranks right there in probably the top 10 college football games of the weekend. Pretty amazing.
And we will take our next question from Dave Meltzer of WrestlingObserver.com.
Yeah, this is for, I guess, for Eric and Dana both. I don't know that an announcement can be made, but is there any kind of a time frame as far as when an announcement is going to be made, as far as what night Ultimate Fighter is going to be on in January?
Yeah, we're still working on it. We're working on that with the guys at FX. So, as soon as it's ready, we'll announce it. We're not ready yet.
Okay, and as far as the women go, is there any kind of can we expect that in the first quarter of next year, or is that even too vague to say?
I don't know. Again, Dave, these are all deals that are still being worked on, so I'm not going to talk about them until they're done.
Okay.
It's always a pain in my ass when I talk about stuff before they're done.
Okay. All right. Okay, thanks very much.
All right, just so you guys know, Shogun is on now. If anybody has any questions for Shogun.
And we will take our next question from Corey Smith of MMANonstop.com.
Hi, guys. My question is for Rory. Recently you said on UFC Tonight that you wanted to fight more often. Is that more of you want to fight kind of more quantity over quality, or is it just something that you want to fight regardless of how that goes?
I don't really care. I just want to fight more often, like quality or whatever. I don't care. After this fight with BJ, I'm pretty much ready to fight, March or take short notice fights. As long as I keep my weight in check, won't be a problem for me to make 170 on short notice anymore. So, I'm pretty much ready to go all the time now. With how I've kind of changed things up as far as my training, I think it's gonna work well with me fighting a lot more.
Okay, thanks.
And as a reminder, that is star followed by the number 1 to prompt for a question. We will go next to Neil Davidson of the Canadian Press.
Thank you. Dana, this question's for you. Rory joined the UFC. He was the youngest fighter. He's got 5 fights under his belt, and I believe according to your website, he's the 7th youngest fighter. You obviously think a lot of them putting him up against an icon like BJ Penn. How far do you think Rory can go, and can you give us your thoughts of how he has bounced back from that Condit loss?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. There's a lot of hype behind him. A lot of people that I respect in the business say good things about him. And you never really know until you see a guy. I think this is a big fight for Rory. The one thing that you always know about BJ Penn, you're not going in there and you're running over BJ. You know what I mean? BJ's in a fight till the end. He doesn't cut. He's never been knocked out. He just, BJ's a tough guy, man, and BJ's a crafty guy. He's got good stand-up, obviously great submissions. His wrestling is good, and I think BJ is going to be a big test for him.
And a quick follow-up, if I may, with the return of GSP in Montreal, you got your top pay-per-view back. It was a great fight against Condit. Can you give a sense of, did GSP and that Condit fight live up to his heritage of being a top draw? Did the fight perform?
GSP delivered again.
Can you give us any sense of where it fit in the scheme of things?
It was awesome. It was a great weekend for us.
Okay. Thanks, Dana.
And we will take our next question from Ariel Helwani of MMAfighting.com.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to ask a couple follow-ups to Rory. You said that you're now ready to start fighting more often because of the changes you made in your training. Can you elaborate on what changes you made?
I'm being a little bit more smart with my training as far as taking days off. Like before, I just never took days off, even if I was hurt, because I just I don't know, I just didn't. So when I feel like I'm breaking down a little bit, my body's breaking down, I just take a day off, or I adjust it. Like if instead of going sparring, if I'm messed up, I'll go swim or something. I'll just adjust it in that kind of fashion. So it's been keeping me healthy, and I think for me, health is most important. I know how to fight, so all I really need is my health. I'm in shape all year round because I train all the time. So if I'm healthy, I could fight it on like a minute's notice. I'm ready to go. I just need to be healthy. That's all.
And Dana mentioned earlier that GSP's on vacation. Obviously, he had his big fight less than 2 weeks ago. I'm wondering, will he be in Seattle? Obviously he knows BJ fought him twice. Will he be in your corner, or will he be traveling there to help you as the fight approaches?
Ariel, can you say that one more time?
Sure. I was wondering if GSP, considering the fact that he fought BJ twice, I know he's on vacation, Dana said, but I was wondering if he'll be able to, or if he will be in Seattle, helping you out, courting you, or anything of that sort.
No, I don't think so.
How much did you, you sort of confide in him and ask him questions? And obviously he was training for a big fight, but did he tell you a lot about his two fights against BJ? Did you try to draw from that experience at all as you trained for this fight?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I didn't really ask him anything. I mean, I watched it. So, I mean, he told me a few things, but it's not like I'm not like the kind of guy that really wants to know everything about somebody. I really don't care. I mean, for all I know, BJ could completely have changed his training, and like maybe he's a Muay Thai fighter now. Who knows? I don't really care. I just get better as a fighter and as a martial artist, and I just react to what's in there. I really don't care about the past or, I mean, he told me a few things that were interesting, but that's about it.
Thanks.
Yeah. And we will take our next question from Mauricio Dejo of UOL.
Hi, I'd like to ask a question to Shogun. Shogun, do you think this fight leads you to a title shot? If you win, do you think you can step up and pass guys like Machida and Henderson?
Você acha que essa luta é uma vitória que credencia para o certo ou esperar pelo estado do Henderson?
Eu acho que o cinturão é uma consequência do meu trabalho e hoje estou pensando no Gustafsson 100%, eu penso nele, não penso em depois disso, só estou pensando no Gustafsson.
It's important to think step by step. Right now I'm focusing Gustafsson. Everything can change from one day to another. Right now it's all about the fight against Gustafsson.
And what did you change in your preparation for this fight?
O que você mudou na sua preparação dessa luta?
Na verdade eu treinei tudo, treinei boxe, wrestling, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu e precisou estar pronto, todas as modalidades. Então MMA é isso, MMA é um esporte muito amplo, que envolve todas as artes marciais, então a gente tem que estar bom em tudo. E é o que eu tentei fazer.
I didn't give a specific attention for a kind of fight. I try to train everything, box, wrestling, MMA is right now is very competitive. You must be ready for everything, every kind of situation.
And we will now go to our next question. That comes from AJ Perez of FoxSports.com.
This is for Shogun. I just wanted to see if he has any regrets from not taking that fight against Jones when it was offered to him in August. And the second part is I want to ask about how he sees his fight with Gustafsson and how he sees it going.
Can you repeat the second part, please?
Sure. How he sees the fight going for this next one coming up.
A luta com o Jones em agosto. E como é que você vê o desenrolar dessa luta com o Gustafsson?
Não, eu não arrependi porque eu tinha pouco tempo de treinamento, total, então não tinha tempo. E essa do Gustafsson foi uma luta que eu soube muito tempo antes, pude treinar certinho, fiz meu tempo perfeito, então tem uma grande diferença. E eu deixei para você bem claro, se tivesse 6 semanas, eu aceitaria a luta do John Jones. Como eu tinha só 2, não pude aceitar.
Como é que você vê o desenrolar dessa luta do Gustafsson?
É uma luta que o Gustafsson é um trocador, eu também. Então, com certeza, é uma luta para agradar todos os fãs aí que gostam de porrada.
Okay. The first question is that I was totally off at when the UFC invited me to fight against Jones. Everyone knows
everybody knows. Everybody knew that I was off. It was 2 weeks after my fight against Vera. So I accept the fight. I told to Lorenzo that I just need 6 weeks, but Lorenzo explaining there is not enough time. There's a lot of things involved in the event. So they offered me just 2 weeks, and wasn't enough time to make a good preparation. Right now, I made a wonderful camp for the Gustafsson fight. Everything's running okay. The schedule, no changes, no injuries. So 3 months camp is almost done. So I'm ready for this fight. And about the Gustafsson fight, I think it's a fight that every fan wants to see, because both look for the knockout. We are strikers. I think the fans will have a wonderful show, and let's see what's going to happen.
Great, thank you.
And we will take our next question from Mike Chiapetta of MMAfighting.com.
And the first question is for BJ Penn, please. BJ, you obviously draw a lot of different reactions from fans and from people who watch. You have a very loyal fan base, people who believe in you. You also have people who doubt what you can do at this stage of your career. And I guess there's sort of a consensus that we don't really know what to expect from you after a little bit of time off. What do you expect out of yourself on December the 8th?
I really expect a lot out of myself on December 8th. I got back together with my old trainer that trained me for the Jens Pulver, Joe Stevenson, and Sean Shirk fight. We took my belly off. I think the best thing for me was the fight getting postponed and pushed back. I started this training camp at probably 40% body fat, and I was just going to get into shape a little, go there and give it my best effort. But as things started going on, Rory ended up pulling out 10 weeks before the last fight, and he was saying that he saw me, I looked fat, and a bunch of different things, that he'll probably end up killing me in the ring. That really lit a fire under my butt, and I think I'm down under 10% now, and I'm ready to go. I'm expecting the best BJ Penn that I've ever seen. So we'll just see how this all plays out.
Do you feel like you needed someone to light a fire under you, that you needed some sort of challenge to come from somebody like this, whether it was just those sorts of words or whatever? And if so, why? Why did you need that to kind of get yourself going again?
Fighting, it's still not a sport for me. I don't know if I should be saying that on a conference call. Fighting is still a fight for me. It has always been. I'm not a great athlete that can play any sport. I can't do much different sports. But one thing I could always do, I could always fight back. And with that said, I go into the fight. This is a fight. This isn't putting baskets in a hole, a ball in a hole. This has always been a fight for me, and I just love it when it's that way. I love it when my opponent says he's fat, I'll end up killing him. He's nothing, this and that, and it's just all wonderful. I couldn't ask for anything more.
So do you feel like you sort of got your old mentality back in the sense of someone kind of challenging you needing to step up?
I never lost my old mentality, actually. I think here's I lost guy to prepare properly, but I won't be able to do this for the rest of my life, and I want to give it I want to give it a good shot, with this fight coming up.
Okay. And you mentioned the super fights before and how good they were for the sport. When you fought George in the super fight, you were obviously the smaller man in that fight. Even though George is a smaller man, do you think that he sort of owes it to the sport to take the fight against Anderson?
That fight, that's on George himself, but everybody on this phone call knows what BJ do.
I'm sorry, you said everybody on the phone call knows what BJ would do?
Yeah, you know what I would do if Dana called me and said to fight the champion above. You know what I would do.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. And I have one question for Nate, if I can. Nate, having fought for a while and being part of the camp that's been involved in a lot of high-profile fights, I mean, for you personally, what would it mean to you to win and become a UFC champion?
That question for me?
Yes.
I think it'd be good because my whole team's been champion somewhere down the line. I don't know, maybe it's my turn. It's something like that and represents my team.
Okay, thank you guys. I appreciate the time.
And we will take our next question from Steven Maroka of MMAJunkie.com.
Hey, is Alexander still on the line?
No, he's not on the line. We got Shogun.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll go to you, Dana, and maybe see if we can test you a little bit more. I know you're hesitant to give out a solid number, but with Steve's performance at UFC 154, can you say whether it was over 500,000 or under 500,000 pay-per-view buys for the event?
It was a good show. The king of pay-per-view is back. Let's put it that way.
All right. Just thought I'd give it a shot. What would you consider a ratings win for UFC on Fox 5? The last show did 2.4. What would you consider a ratings win?
That's an Eric Shanks question.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't do as much as we would love to, and it's fun. We don't do ratings. You know, we don't do ratings projections. It's not a game that we like to play. What I will tell you is that you know, the demographic makeup, no matter what the rating, the demographic makeup of these fights is off the charts, and this one will be as well.
Do you anticipate there will still be four big Fox events for next year?
Yeah, I think between Dana and us, you know, we like the idea of 4 big fights a year. I think it fits well with all the other UFC programming, both on Fox and you know, and what they have to do on pay-per-view.
Okay, thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
And we will take our next question from Karen Bryant of MMA Heat.
Hey, everybody. You said Alex is not on the call yet. He didn't get on, right?
No, we tried to get him, but we couldn't find him.
Okay, all right, thanks. Well, then my question is for BJ, and maybe you touched on this a little bit, but just that I wonder how much you think about your legacy. I know you would fight anybody at any time, basically what you were just saying about if Dana called for you to fight the next champ up. I'm just curious, people speak of you in such high regard, and I wonder if that even factors into what you do and the decisions you make. You know, just curious how you respond to all that adoration you get from the fans.
You know what? I actually texted Dana a couple months ago, and I told Dana, I said, Dana, I watch all these interviews and all these people talking, and no one says my name when they talk about the greatest fighters anymore. And I really don't like that. It really bothers me. And I know it's my fault. I know I'm the reason why people don't talk about me when they talk about GSP or Anderson Silva. My name was always in the mix. It's never in the mix anymore. And I told Dana I got a real problem with that. And that was actually a big part of my motivation to come back and strong and do a good fight here on December 8th. As far as you talking about people saying they admire me and different things, you know, I want to thank all those people. Even Benson Henderson always comes up and praises me for what I've done over the years, and you know, gives me kind words. But everything is current. I'm a glass half empty kind of guy. Everything is current, and I don't want to just be known. Oh, he was good back in the day. I want to be known as one of the best. Also, with that said, you know, I don't want to sit here and sound like I want more admiration, because you just said a lot of people admire me. But I still think I have some left to accomplish.
Okay, great. Very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen.
All right, and we will go next to Beau Terray of Sports Myriad.
Hi, Nate. When you left The Ultimate Fighter on the finale, I believe you said you didn't recommend staying in the house, and you didn't seem to enjoy it there. What would you say to someone who's considering going on the show today? Would you recommend it today?
I think that if you're not in the UFC already, it's definitely a good shortcut, the way to go about it. But as far as not recommending it, I don't mean like I'm not like sitting in a damn house with 16 dudes. They got fight. And you know, the Ultimate Fighter house. Yeah.
Okay. And for Ben, is Mr. Anderson still on the call?
Benson, you're still on the line, correct?
Ben?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to ask basically, looking through your past record, you've got fight of the year, fight of the year, fight of the night, fight of the night, fight of the night. Again, UFC Lightweight Championship, which a lot of great fighters have held. And I think, we've gone through about 50 minutes of this conference call. You've had, I think, one question. What do you think you need to do to get the media to pay more attention to you?
I don't think I really need to do a whole lot. I think I just need to continue doing what I'm doing. It's all a process. Life is a process. You want to, raise good kids. It doesn't happen in one day. You want to be a great fighter. It doesn't happen overnight. You want to be the best MMA promoter in the history of all MMA promoters. You want to build your company up. You don't build your company up. You don't buy a company and then build it up out of nowhere and all of a sudden it's the biggest organization ever. It takes time. You got to lay the groundwork, stay on that grind, stay at it, and then eventually, you get those big, huge national deals with the national TV stations that are seen worldwide. But it's just a matter of staying on the grind, keep doing what I'm doing, and eventually, if I keep on winning and keep putting the work in, then everything else falls into place. Something I try to be too worried about, trying to think about too much, but just stay plugging away. I got big shoes to fill. If I do want to be one of the great flyweights of all time, I have huge shoes to fill, and I'm excited to get that chance.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, we'll take one more question.
And that question will come from Ariel Helwani of MMAfighting.com.
Thank you. Just had two quick follow-ups for Eric Shanks. Is he still there?
Yeah, Ariel.
Hey, Eric. I was just wondering if you can comment on, obviously you didn't want to comment about the reports about the channel, but there was also a report about, because Fox will have the Super Bowl next year, Meadowlands and whatnot, if the UFC and Fox want to put a show that weekend. Is there anything you can comment on as far as that is concerned?
Look, the short answer is we would love to. We think that Super Bowl week in New York is going to be unlike anything else, and we're gonna own the city. We're gonna own that week of sports television, and there's nothing better we can think of than a big fight that week. So we're talking to Dana and Lorenzo about that. Love for it to happen. We've got to see if they can, if they can put it together. We're trying to convince them to fight, outside in February in the Octagon. Would be fantastic.
Oh wow! So you want this to? Oh, that's a joke. Okay.
I'm joking.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's incredible.
Fighters on the call just when I'm not fighting that week.
And then just one more. The prelims for this call, for this card, is they're going to air on FX after the Facebook prelims. That's the first time in the past they've been on Fuel. Will that be the norm for all the big Fox shows now?
Yeah, we think so. The thinking there is obviously FX is in a lot more homes than Fuel, and it's just it's a funnel. The more people you have watching the prelims and telling them where to catch the fight, the bigger the fight's going to be. And we wanted to do it with this one and get that funnel as big as possible.
Thank you.
Sure.
Guys, I want to thank all the media for calling in today. I'm going to hand it over to Dave Schaller. He's going to run through some things you guys might want to know. And thanks to all the fighters for calling in today. And Eric, thank you.
Thanks, guys.